Being governor comes with a lot of demands, requiring you to focus your time, attention, and effort on the issues most pressing to the people of your state. Unless, of course, you are Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Here's what he's been focused on recently. He's using a 75-year-old court ruling to go after a single Miami restaurant for hosting a drag show. He is agitated about the decision by other states to declare monkeypox a public health emergency. Forget the fact that it seems he's trying to rerun his COVID playbook. Florida has the third highest number of monkeypox cases in the U.S., according to the CDC. And while Florida is facing a 9,000 teacher shortage going into this school year, he's busy sending teachers to a Christian nationalist indoctrination camp to learn how to teach his version of patriotic history that downplays issues of race and slavery.
Putting myself in the shoes of a first or second year teacher, seeing this slide, it's very easy to say that George Washington and TJ were both very anti-slavery. You know, they did everything they could, notwithstanding the fact they both owned slaves.
TJ being Thomas Jefferson. And now DeSantis is suspending the top prosecutor from Tampa, Andrew Warren, who was elected to the position not once, but twice, for signing on to letters with prosecutors across the country saying they won't use their offices to pursue criminal cases against seekers or providers of abortion or gender transition treatments. Now, mind you, no cases have been brought to his office on either matter, and Florida has not even enacted laws criminalizing gender transition treatments for minors. And joining me now is the newly suspended Hillsborough County State Attorney Andrew Warren. I'm excited to talk with you. I've been getting so many texts from Florida friends about what's happened to you, and so I'm glad that you were available today. I want to play what Governor DeSantis said yesterday about suspending you.
When you flagrantly violate your oath of office, when you make yourself above the law, you have violated your duty, you have neglected your duty, and you are displaying a lack of competence to be able to perform those duties.
What do you think this is about? Because you've broken no laws, you've not gotten any prosecutions that you've declined to do. You just signed on to a letter. What do you think this is about?
This is about the governor running for president. This is political theater, plain and simple. And anyone who cares about democracy and free speech should be scared by this. I mean, this is a core principle of our democracy, that the voters get to decide who their elected officials are. Even my 8-year-old understands that. It's just, this is how democracy works.
Do you think that, so you think this is theater? You think that he's playing for an audience in like Iowa and the potential caucuses, and he's playing for basically for Fox News and for a Republican audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at what he said, he's mischaracterizing and lying things that I've done, things that I've said. This isn't about what I've done as state attorney. This is about what I've said. And it's about him guessing about things that I may do in the future, as you pointed out, Joy, for cases that even haven't come before me yet.
Let me go through this just a moment, because we know that on the gender affirming care side, the Florida Board of Medicine, who are all appointed by DeSantis, they just voted today to accept the state's petition to ban and restrict gender affirming care in the state. It has not gone to rulemaking. So it's not a law yet. It's just a recommendation from the Florida Board of Medicine. So there's no law that you have refused to indict on, right?
That's right. So not only have no cases come before me about gender affirming healthcare, there's no law in place. I mean, this is Orwellian thought police, where I'm being punished for not enforcing a law that doesn't even exist yet. It's hard to fathom how this happens in our country.
And when it comes to abortion, there's a 15-week ban, but is there a law in place that says anyone, have you heard of, or do you know of a case where there's a potential prosecution that could come before you of a doctor who performed an abortion after 15 weeks? Is there a prosecution even pending anywhere on the docket?
No, not at all. And in fact, when I signed on to that letter, and let's be clear, that letter was a value statement expressing my opposition to laws that were violating people's constitutional rights. But at the time I signed on to it, Roe v. Wade was still the law of the land. So a 15-week ban was unconstitutional under federal law. And it's currently unconstitutional under state law in Florida because there's a right to privacy in our Constitution. And it's not just me saying that. the first court to hear the issue said that. So I'm being punished for enforcing a law that doesn't exist on transgender healthcare. I'm being punished for enforcing an unconstitutional law that hasn't even come before me yet. Again, this is political theater. This is because the president is trying to outflank, the governor is trying to outflank President Trump in his presidential aspirations.
Let's go through some of the other bills, because, you know, you're talking about thought policing. You've been vocal in opposing some of the other things DeSantis has done. He signed this anti-riot bill in the wake of the George Floyd protests that grants civil immunity to drivers who hit protesters with their car and protects police budgets from being cut no matter what. There's also a bill that he signed creating one of the nation's only election police units that friends of mine who work on elections down there say they are very concerned will be used to sic a police agency on voters of color. You've been vocal about that. Do you believe that this is overall just saying no one in Florida who is elected or appointed is allowed to have any thought that Ron DeSantis disagrees with?
Well, that's certainly part of it, Joy. I mean, elected officials in Florida should be worried and careful about what they say now, because if you say something that the governor doesn't agree with or doesn't like, you can be suspended or punished or who knows what, arrested. But it's more than that. The governor and any elected leader is supposed to be in office to solve problems, to make our community and our state and our country better. And instead, this governor is inventing problems. He's creating fake solutions to imaginary problems so that he can go add it to his stump speech when he runs for his next office. That's the real shame of all of this.
Very quickly, do you have any recourse?
Well, this happened so fast. I was blindsided, escorted out of my office by an armed deputy with no notice, no chance to even look at the order. So we're going to fight this. And we're going to fight this vigorously, but we're exploring our legal options right now.
And I'm sure your constituents would appreciate that since they elected you twice. State Attorney Andrew Warren, thank you, sir, very much.